Hello again, listeners, and welcome back to the Kotu Classic FPL podcast. I'm your host, Bruce, and as usual, my co-host, Chama. Chama Nakam, it's been a while. Seems like it's been like a month between
Yeah,
these two
it's been a couple of
gimmicks.
weeks,
Yeah,
but yeah, it's like a long time.
yeah.
Like because there's a lot of things happening in between the FA Cup, the League Cups, and things like that. But you guys are cruising in those cups, so I'm sure you
Fingers
have been
crossed.
you have been
Yeah.
enjoying the last couple of weeks.
Well, not enjoying, but I mean, it's good, to at least get a run going and seeing your team playing well. Even though there's a lot of games to be played. That's the the worry. But yeah, we're doing well. I commend the boys. Um, So we're recording double game week 20 today, preview. So we're going to talk about some few results that I think the game week 18 and 19, because it was midweek. So we're going
Yeah.
to talk about some of the recaps, some interesting results. So Chama, first things first, your boys, what's going on? Liverpool, they lost to Brentford, the first game of the game week 18.
Yeah, was it on?
What happened?
It was it was on a Tuesday. Yeah, it's been a long
It was on a
time.
Tuesday, yeah, midweek, yeah. It seems like a long
Yeah,
time ago, right? A lot of people have forgotten, like, looking at this now. It was a
definitely,
good win for Brentford, a good win for them.
definitely.
Um, yeah. So what happened?
Yeah, I think it was something that was it was not surprising in a way
Mm,
because it was coming for Liverpool. We have been winning games since we returned. We won our first two games against Villa and against I cannot even remember it. That was Leicester. And then yeah, we didn't play well in both games, in my opinion. There were parts we played well, but not the whole game, I would say. And we were a bit lucky against Leicester, got a couple of own goals, and then yeah, it was coming. So it wasn't a surprise that we lost the game. Maybe from a Brentford perspective, they lost their key player that was Ivan Toney. He was not available, so that kind of
yeah.
gave us a little bit of hope as Liverpool, which should not be the case. Like hoping that one player is out, and then, but then still we were like as open as ever, open chances coming left, right, and center. It was very difficult to watch. But yeah, that's the story of Liverpool season so far, and it's
Yeah.
been really bad. But yeah, kudos to Brentford. They played really well. Tactics was spot on. They know how to got to us, and they did that very well. Mbeumo was flying. Wisa, who could be very interesting going forward in FPL, was also flying. Scored a hat trick actually. Two goals were chopped off for offside and yeah, something like that. But they were very impressive. So yeah, I cannot say much about that. But yeah, we have a lot of things to do, Liverpool. But you guys are
Hopefully,
flying
hopefully.
in the order. Yeah, Man United are now actually at the top of their powers for a very long time, I would say.
Well, we are doing well. Hopefully, I think kudos to Rashford and a few key players in the team. Before we get to that, another game, Arsenal Newcastle. I think we all predicted it was going to be close, right?
Yeah,
But I was expecting Arsenal to win. But I mean, Newcastle did well. They defended well. Arsenal had a few chances,
yeah. Defensively, they
but it
have been
was
solid.
0-0. Yeah, they've been solid. So I don't mind that at all because obviously I have two Newcastle defenders in my team. So
Yeah.
that's
Oh,
that's good.
nice. That's why you're
Yeah,
flying.
some clean sheet points. Not really, but yeah, I missed out on the Shaw Hall, which is the next game, Man U Bournemouth. Shaw
Yeah,
scored a goal, so he had about 15 points.
yeah. He's
I
flying,
was
huh?
I don't know. Yeah, he's also flying.
Flying in
Actually,
center
he
back,
played
flying
center
in
back.
fullback.
Yeah, so he's
Yeah,
center back and then fullback too. So he's like the man to pick out now for our defense. He's very versatile. You know. Another this is game week 19 actually, not 18, like I mentioned
yeah,
before. This was 19. So another game to mention is Crystal Palace Spurs. We all know that Spurs have not been doing well recently. You know, we are not talking about Son anymore. Remember how we used to talk about Son all the time if you're talking about
yeah,
premium, but this season nothing at all. But I mean, the game was tight up until about I don't know how many minutes, 70 something minutes, and then I saw alerts on my phone. I wasn't watching it. I saw like goals,
okay.
one, two. It's like, what's going on? Seems like Crystal Palace just fumbled and they missed the plot, and just gave Spurs what they wanted. And I think Spurs just played the counter, which they're really good at. You know,
Definitely.
that's the only way they know how to play. And then I think your boy Doherty did he score?
Yeah,
Score a goal?
he scored, kept the clean
Yeah.
sheet.
So I mean,
So yeah, it was a big
yeah,
week for him.
big week for like for even Son scored. Kane got like what 15 points too.
Yeah, so Kane
So
was the
yeah,
star of the week with 15, 16 points, I
definitely.
reckon. He was,
And
yeah.
definitely he's going under the radar. I think now people should take note. Just because Haaland is doing well doesn't mean that we have to ignore Kane. I'm really looking forward to getting him into my team
Yeah,
sometime soon.
yeah, definitely, especially for managers like yourself who like to play
Yeah.
strikers. I think this is a
Hmm.
breath of fresh air for you guys.
Yeah.
Not so much for me because like I just don't want to spend too much money on my forward line, which kind of relate to my
Yeah.
season when strikers are
Mhm.
doing very well in the game. And yeah, Kane is really,
Yeah.
really, and yeah, he scored two top goals in that game. Very difficult goals, I would say, but he took them to perfection. He's just an exceptional player. If there was no Haaland, then we will be hearing more about him this season
Yeah.
because he's
Everybody
having
will have him
like one of
in
his
the
best
team. Yeah.
seasons in terms of
Hmm.
goal scoring run and stuff like
Very
that. So
consistent. Yeah. Very
very
consistent.
consistent, scoring almost every other game. And yeah, the next two games are Man City and the double with Man City and Arsenal,
Arsenal.
fixtures that
Mhm.
he thrives very well on. So that could be very interesting. I see people are going for him, and I don't think that is a wrong move. Huh?
It's a good idea actually if you can spare the transfer. And last but not least, our good friend Chelsea. They are going through it, man. They lost back to back. They were the only team that had a double this game in game 19. And then they lost the first game, which is understandable to Man City. It's a close game. They lost 1-0, even though at home.
Yeah.
But the surprising one was just yesterday when they lost to Fulham 2-1, and Fulham were celebrating. And they should, because this is a big result for them, and they got into the top six for the first time
Yeah,
this season.
absolutely,
So,
big. This is the actual derby for Fulham in the Premier League. It's Chelsea and
oh,
Chelsea's real derby. Of course, they are at
okay.
different, like if you look at the football like level, you will say Chelsea,
Yeah,
of
they're
course,
way
is a
ahead.
bigger
Yeah,
club
definitely.
and
It's a
Fulham is a
much better
smaller
team,
club
a
and
bigger
stuff like
team.
that. But yeah, they are
Mm-hmm.
real big rivals because they are the closest. So it was a big win for
Oh,
Fulham
okay.
without Mitrovic. And yeah,
Exactly, they
and
did it without Mitrovic, yeah.
they
One of their
played
key
really
players.
well. Uh-huh.
Hmm.
And then Chelsea, you had João Felix coming in for his debut.
I mean,
I think he was impressive, to
man,
be honest. But I don't know
I didn't watch
happened.
the game. I didn't know whether he was
No, he was the
impressive,
best
but I
player for
was
Chelsea
surprised.
before he got the red. He was really good. His
Mm.
first touch in the game was a nutmeg on the centre back, and then he was really causing a lot of trouble. Gave yellow card to their two defenders. He was really, really flying until he took the red card. I feel for him for the red card. It is a red card, but
Yeah, it's
uh,
the stuff. I think it was a mistake, maybe. But you shouldn't be doing this kind of tackles at
yeah,
the
he
top
did the
level
tackle and then
in
realized and
any
then
league.
tried to back
Yeah,
off, but it was too late.
in any
The
league, it
impact
was
has
too
already
late. Yeah,
been
in
made,
any league, yeah,
and then he
definitely.
got the red
I
card.
mean, it's
Yeah,
for as much as they're paying for him, like, that's why I'm saying Ted Boley wants, or their owner, whatever his name is called, wants to buy everybody. This doesn't seem to be a structure, but he's a good player, and definitely I would have loved to have him in Man U on
yeah.
loan. Even after, I'm sure would have loved to have him, but the price is just too expensive. Chelsea wouldn't
Yeah,
have got him.
it was really expensive.
But
Chelsea paid
yeah,
like almost close to
15
15
million.
million in total with
Yeah,
the wages
and then with the wages too. Yeah, that's a lot
and the
for for
price. And now you
for
lost him
for, for,
for 1 month because he's
for a
not gonna
month.
play.
Yeah, so a 6 month loan, and then you lose him for 1 month. So it's crazy, man. I wish we had that kind of money lying flying around somewhere.
Yeah. Third ball, he's playing
Anyways,
fantasy, like they say. He's just, buying anything he wants. That's what we do as fantasy managers. We can buy any
I know,
player we
right?
want as long as we have
Mm-hmm.
we can handle the hits. Then we can buy any. So
Mm-hmm.
that's what he's doing. He's just taking the hits with his money
Mm-hmm.
and buying anything he wants.
Yeah. Okay, so let's jump straight into the Kotu Classic Mini League. Um,
Yeah, but first, your game week before we check the
did we
Kotu
miss?
Classic League.
Oh yeah. Okay, sorry. You see, it's because I didn't even do well. So for me, my mind is not even going there at all because I missed two key players, Shaw and then Kane, who had 15 pointers. A lot of people around me in my mini leagues, they're doing well because of Shaw. So and
Mhm.
Kane. But yeah, 53 points. I brought in Havertz thinking that he has a double game week and taking a punt on him, he might score. But Havertz as a striker is not really doing it for me.
Mhm.
It was a 1 week punt. I think he's going to probably leave my team. I don't know exactly when because I've used my transfer for 20, but let's see what happens. 53 points, Kepa. I have Kepa
Kepa has been a
in goal.
disappointment, right?
It's been a disappointment because Chelsea, it just shows you Chelsea's form right now,
Yeah.
not too good. Too two a double game week and just 3 points. It's not good at all. Cancelo with 1 point. That's another thing we have to talk about later on in the preview because really, as expensive as he is, he's not playing now because of the new formation that Pep is trying to implement.
Yeah.
Yeah, Trippier 8 points, Botman 6 points, De Bruyne 3, Martinelli 3, Rashford 8, and there's 5.
Yeah, it was a low scoring.
Captain,
Even a double game week, it was low scoring for a double
yeah, it
game week,
was
right?
low scoring. Yeah, it was low scoring, honestly. Mitrovic scored in his first game and then got the yellow card and missed the second game. I think so. Fulham and Chelsea were the ones that had double in this 19. Haaland 2 and then Havertz 4. So very low scoring. But if you had at least Shaw or Kane, or if you have both, I think you probably do well in this game week. So yeah, that's it for me. How
Oh,
was yours?
mine was like the story of my season. 49 points. I did not even hit the 50 point mark in a double
Mm,
game week where I had a couple of doublers or 3 double game week players and still I could not hit 50. Yeah, I had Kepa in goal. Cancelo, Trippier. He has come to my team since after the break, but he's doing wonders. One of the good moves that I made. Trent with the 5 point.
yeah,
He's sticking along with his points, but Liverpool are
it's
not doing well
assist.
defensive
Yeah,
defensively,
but then they
so
still
it's not
concede.
really
Yeah.
having an impact as it should. And then in the
Hmm.
middle, you have Martinelli, Rashford, Salah, and Andreas. Andreas with 5 points. Yesterday, he got the assist for the winner, which was a very, very good pass for Vinicius to win the game against Chelsea. And then up top, I had Mitro, Haaland, and Martial. Mitro, of course, captain, took the yellow card, which everybody was expecting him to do at some point. And then, yeah, he took it in a very unfashioned way, in a very irresponsible way, I should say. But yeah, it is what it
Decent
is.
for decent, huh? It's
Yeah, so
complain.
he should be
Yeah,
back come next game week. Maybe he wanted a rest, Maybe he wanted to
maybe
take the rest,
possible.
take the break a week or two. But yeah, that was my game week. 49 points. I don't even know where that ranked
Not
me,
bad.
and I did not even look at my overall rank. That has been the story of my
Oh
season.
yeah. I
But
think
I
yeah.
keep
To be
going. I
honest,
keep going. I keep going.
yeah. I dropped down to 326K from two something. I guess I'm not really keeping score of my rank anymore because whenever I have a bad game, I was like, oh man, this I don't
It's
even want to look. I'm scared to look. So yeah. Moving it along to Kotu Classic Mini League. Um,
the manager of the week.
Manager of the week, Black Mamba FC with 89 points. Matanjai.
Yeah,
Congrats to Matanjai. I think but definitely you have Shaw, you see, and he has what Kane. So if you have those two players, that's already 30 points.
yeah,
Even if it doesn't matter how bad you do for the rest of your team, I think you should be good.
yeah.
Yeah, and he captained Rashford also, which is also a good thing with 16 points. Yeah.
Definitely.
So let's go through his team and see like which players he
Yeah,
had.
he had Pope in goal with 10 points against Arsenal. That was huge. Shaw, Robinson of Fulham. He also had the clean sheet, and then yesterday he got a couple of points. So 8 points for Robinson. And John Stones 9 points. Bruno Fernandez
Oh,
6. Martinelli 3 points. Rashford with the captain 16 points. Almiron 2. Zaha 2. And up top he had Kane and Haaland. Kane giving him the 16 points. He even have some bench points in
the one on
Saliba
the bench,
with
huh?
with
Saliba,
seven
yeah.
seven points on the bench.
He chose
Yeah,
the right players.
the right
The
players.
right
Yeah,
players,
absolutely.
yeah. Kind of
He don't have
differential
a
too.
Trippier. I'm surprised though, but yeah, otherwise
Hmm.
it's his perfect team.
Yeah, congrats, man. This was a very good game week to have a top score.
Definitely,
And
Black
looking
Mamba.
at our top five for the Kotu Classic Mini League, a bit of movement. Somebody moving into the top five is Munda Junior
Uh-huh.
in fifth. Still staying in the same position. Old Roger in fourth, and dropping down to third is Mohamed Tampa. Remember, he was leading for the longest time. The
Yeah, he
first,
was leading for the longest
uh,
time, but he's
he
dropping
was
now
doing
since
really
after the
well.
break.
He's
Yeah,
dropping now. Yeah, since after the break, like he's dropping now. Things are changing. He needs to shake things up a bit. And moving to second is Manaman. And then first is Mr. Fantasy,
yeah, you
FC
are really
Hamari
Mr.
Corp.
Fantasy.
I know, right? It's flying now because he's extending the lead, even though he had a like pretty average gaming, but the lead is still extended by about what?
Yeah,
Is it about
definitely.
20 points or so? Yeah.
Yeah,
So that's the top five of the Koto Classic Mini League.
Yeah,
competitive, man. It's tough that up
yeah,
there.
it's really tough up there.
But
But you are not far off. I see you around 12, 13. So maybe you
12
can
ish,
crack into the
yeah.
top
Just
five very
we'll
soon.
see, man. No, I don't think top five. But you never know. But I'm just trying to keep abreast with the movement so that they don't extend the gap too much.
Nice.
Um, moving to our next segment, fan corner.
Yeah.
This week we don't have much on the Liverpool side of things. I think
Mm-hmm.
I heard about Darwin. He might be injured because he's flagged, right?
Yeah. He had an injury. I think club confirmed that today. Um, he might be out for this game week. But he say it's not a major thing, so it should not take long. That's what he said. So I don't know what's the nature of the injury, to be honest. But yeah, he could be out for this game week. So, which makes it easy for um owners to move to Kane
Hmm.
very quickly.
Yeah, because it
Because
was
I think
between
many
the
people
two,
were
right? Yeah,
contemplating that move, Darwin to Kane, Darwin to
Darwin.
Kane, if
Okay,
you had
yeah.
Darwin. So I think
Mhm.
with Kane did having the double, Darwin probably missing the game. So I think it's sensible to consider that move. Yeah, but yeah, he scored a very good goal in the FA Cup against Wolves, which we got really lucky on. We ended
Really
up drawing
lucky.
the game.
Yeah.
Salah scored a goal, which I think should have been an offside, but because of the rules are kind of wrong in that sense, it was a goal, and I understand why. And then they scored a very clean goal, and VAR was not active at that point in time. So Liverpool got lucky a couple of times, one for the rule and one because of VAR mess. So yeah, but Darwin was on fire, and he's the chaotic player. Like I think that is known to everybody now. Darwin is a chaotic player. There are parts of his game that is not good, that he's not perfect yet, which of course, but he's still young, 23 years, and he can learn, which we believe. But he has been like very active around in and around the box. Like I watched an article. I read an article from Alan Shearer yesterday. Today he wrote it yesterday, but I read the article today, and it's actually on Tifo. They made a video of it. It's very interesting to watch about Darwin, his dynamics, and what he does. It's very. I recommend a watch of that one. But the thing is, his decision making is the issue, and his finishing and stuff like that, which is kind
Finishing.
of
Yeah.
everybody know. But he has a lot of things that you would want your striker to have. Like the
Mm.
raw talent is already there. So he's a raw
It's
talent.
there. Yeah.
He's like some call it. He's a rough diamond, kind of, right? It's just about
It needs polishing.
polishing very well until he find that perfect, you know, skill set to do those things. But the things that he cannot do, the things that we worry for him right now are things that you can learn as a player. When it comes to finishing, when it comes to
And also
composure and stuff like
experience.
that, it's
Yeah.
just about
With time.
being in the training ground,
Mhm.
working on it, and hopefully that will get better. And also in that game we saw Gakpo. I think we spoke a bit
Oh
about
yeah,
him.
Gakpo.
He was
Hmm.
okay in that game. He got the assist for Salah, kind of. Because it's not a direct assist because he chipped the ball and then the defender flicked it. Then Salah scored from that
Hmm.
resulting flick. But he was pretty decent. His touches were good. Nothing special, but you could see that yeah, he could have an impact in the future. And yeah, I think he could bear it. I am quite optimistic about him after watching him. I haven't known much about him, but after watching him in that game, I was quite you know satisfied with his debut. Not something that you will
Do
say he has blown everything, but it was okay for a debut. I would say nothing dramatic to say. But yeah,
okay.
in the Liverpool front, I
That's
think that
good.
is it. Not much to say. I think we can move to Man United. Your guys,
Yes. So my guys, we wanted to loan
the big
what's his
news,
name
huh?
again?
Wout
Yeah, we wanted we
Weghorst.
wanted we wanted to loan what's his name? João
Is
Felix
that Jao
from
Felix? Yeah.
Atletico.
Mm-hmm.
We couldn't afford him because I think the price was ridiculous. Chelsea came in swooped. And I think the board made it perfectly clear that we don't have money to spend in January. I think that
Yeah.
was why Chakpo even went to you guys. So the only option we had was to pay, is it 2 or 3 million
Yeah.
to what is it, Besiktas that he
Yeah.
came from?
Basic Burnley.
Besiktas.
Burnley. He's on
Ball
loan
he's on
at
loan to
Besiktas. Yeah, from
Besiktas, but
Burnley.
from
So you
Burnley.
guys loan
Yeah,
him from Burnley. So they terminated that
from
loan
Burnley.
and then
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean he was excited to join us. Obviously, he's a Man U, but it's Vegas. Like it's not the type of profile you would think that Manu would be looking for. But apparently, like Ten Hag really admires the qualities that he has, and I think he can do a job for us. To be honest, on loan,
Yeah. And
because Marshall, you all know
he had a
Marshall.
decent World Cup, right?
Oh yeah, yeah, the different
Scored
World Cup.
scored a couple
I
of
didn't
goals
watch
against
the game where he
Argentina.
scored against Argentina. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
So
and
I think
Messi was
he's
angry with him because I don't know what.
I'm optimistic. Maybe Messi should watch Man U play more often than his favorite players playing.
But yeah, I
But
like
yeah,
the
well,
signing, to be honest. To be honest, for me, because of the
yeah,
option that he gave you, he's the type of player
yeah,
that
it's a
you are
different
lacking right now.
option.
You don't have a target man up top. Of course, you don't
Hmm.
bring him to come and be your main striker. He's just gonna be an option. Like if you need something different to what you have with Marshall, Rashford, he will give you that kind of option. And you guys are in four competition at this point in time, so you will need
Yeah, we need
a bit of depth.
we need a
So
bigger
yeah,
squad. Yeah,
I don't
definitely.
dislike this signing, to be honest. And he has a good
Yeah,
pedigree when he was in Germany at Wolfsburg. Then he came to Burnley because Burnley, the way they played, they wanted to make
they
him,
were doing.
that kind.
Yeah.
It was not.
Hmm.
He's a big man. That's why they bought him at Burnley. But he likes to play
The
football
way
a
he
little bit
plays
sometimes. So
is more
he was
different. It's
decent at some
different.
point in Burnley.
Hmm.
Yeah, I think
But Burnley
Manchester
were
United
also
will suit
doing.
him more than Burnley.
But they were doing poorly. So if you come and join a team that is desperate and wants to hang on to the Premier League, like it's going to be difficult for you as a striker to score goals.
Exactly,
You know,
exactly.
they were not doing too well at that point. So you know, so in a better team, hopefully, I think he'll score more goals, like you said.
Yeah,
Yeah. Not much going on with both of our teams. That was it. So we move on to the main segment of the podcast, which is Double Gaming 20 preview.
yeah.
I think we'll take out the look at the results.
The
I mean
fixtures.
the fixture, sorry, yeah, for this double game week. Let me just run through it quickly. Aston Villa play Leeds, as that's the first game in a couple of hours, I think.
Yeah.
Um, Man U play Man City, which you said is the first game tomorrow, the kickoff, early kickoff, which is going to be a big derby. We hope that Man City keep their their form after losing against
Yeah,
Southampton
yeah.
in the cup.
United
So yeah,
fans.
yeah, this guy gives us hope. Brighton play Liverpool, Everton play Southampton, Nottingham Forest play Leicester, Wolves play West Ham, Brentford, Bournemouth, Chelsea play Crystal Palace, Newcastle play Fulham, and then Spurs play
Another
Arsenal.
derby.
It's a big derby. I'm looking forward to watching this one in Tottenham's home, obviously. So we'll see. Crystal Palace play Man U, and then Man City play Spurs. So you see a couple of teams having a double: Crystal
For
Palace, Man U,
Man
Man
City
City,
and Tottenham.
and and Tottenham. Yeah,
Yeah.
those are the doubles. Tough, difficult doubles to be honest. But like I said, I kind of feel like when we were chatting, I kind of feel like last season, even though it's a different season altogether, these tough doubles is when we had some horrors, from some of these players. So if you can take a punt this week, even though the problem is right now is confusion. People don't know what to do.
Yeah, yeah,
Whether you have
definitely.
three Man City, whether
That's
you
where
have two
I
Man
stand.
City. A lot of people have Cancelo. Like, who do you move Cancelo for? Like, are you gonna get Shaw? Who are you gonna get? So it depends how your team looks like and what you need to address. But I think taking a hit this week is warranted. To be honest, I think it might pay off in the future, especially if you want to keep that player in your team for the next few game weeks, because there are a few doubles coming up still.
Yeah, definitely.
So
I
yeah,
agree.
your thoughts on this fixture and the double in general?
Yeah, the double. I think you nailed it. It's pretty tricky.
Mm-hmm.
Four teams with double. You would not look at any of the pair of fixtures and say, okay, this is a good fixture for this particular team. But of course, if you look at the players as individuals, for example, Tottenham, Spurs, you have Kane and Son. They usually do well against Arsenal and Manchester City, especially Son against Manchester City last season. He was exceptional against Arsenal too. Last season he scored. Kane too, likewise. I think he scored about 30 points if you combine these two fixtures from last season. So
Yeah.
they are difficult fixtures, but in the context of players, they are not necessarily difficult in that way. And Manchester City, we know, is Manchester City. They like, how can I say? They come to life when they play these big fixtures because like that is the type of team. Yeah, they are a huge team. And Manchester United, they are in a very very good way at this moment in time. Since
Mm-hmm.
they after the World Cup, Rashford has come back on fire after having a very good World Cup. So it could they are a very tricky game. Only Crystal Palace you will say because they play Manchester United and Chelsea, but then you are playing Chelsea. Chelsea right now, everybody
Chelsea,
wanna
like
play
yeah, that's
Chelsea,
true. Right now,
so
yeah,
it's not
anybody can play
it's not
Chelsea
as
and
bad
win.
as you think. So yeah,
Mm-hmm.
fixtures like on paper fixtures are difficult, but like you say, it is possible there might be a hole here or there. But who's gonna have
Mm-hmm.
it? That's the thing.
That's the
And
thing.
I think managers are
Pinpointing the
even
hole
thinking
there.
about the triple captain, especially when it comes to Haaland.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. Yeah, like, go on.
Yeah. Especially when it comes to when it comes to Haaland. Yeah, and if you remember well, in this reverse fixture against Man U, it was a hat trick for him, and 20 something points. He got 2 assists and 3 goals. I'm not sure he will repeat that feat, but still, it's Haaland. He scores. He can score against any team, right? Because that is the type of player he is. So people are considering, is it the right time? Because he's gonna play both games. He did not play in the League Cup when they get knocked out against
Was rested,
Southampton.
yeah.
So that means this is the best time to captain him in terms of he will give you 2 starts and probably 2 90 minutes. Because these are two big fixtures. So if you look at it in that context, maybe Haaland, this is the right time to do that. But some people are thinking left field or Rashford, he's on fire and he's gonna play both games. So why not we consider him for the yeah,
But that's
it's
true, man.
difficult,
That's yeah.
but you should not look at the fixtures too much. Maybe you should look at the form of the players and the caliber of the players to
Mm.
and then go for
But
it. But in terms of fixtures, I think it's gonna be interesting, especially the two derbies. I'm very excited to watch those 2 games. Man United, Man
I,
City. Man United are on form. Man City have dipped a little bit in terms of form, but that is the League Cup, you will say, because the FA Cup they trash Chelsea, the League they trash Chelsea, and they have been winning. They have drawn against Everton so far since they returned, but it's Manchester City. They are the best team in the league. We all know that. So it's gonna be a very difficult game, and it's gonna be at Old Trafford with the four Man United in. It's gonna be a very interesting game, to be honest. It's difficult. I cannot call the game. I cannot call the game. Arsenal too. Usually, I would say Tottenham at home they are the better team, but with the form Arsenal are on right now, you cannot say much about like you cannot rely on the previous fixtures, right? And Tottenham, they start slow. Arsenal, they start fast. It's very interesting, right? And I'm worried about my boys, to be honest. We play Brighton, and I am very, very worried because Brighton is a good football playing team, and Liverpool are not the Liverpool we used to know, who will press you, who will harass you. So, yeah, fixture wise, it's a difficult one to pick teams. But in terms of football, I think there is a lot of wonderful football to see in the next week or so.
so which fixture out of all of this is like the one to watch for you in terms of football, like just sit down and watching the game, and then
It's,
also
it's
in
gonna be
terms of
Manchester
like
City. It's gonna be Manchester United,
Man
Manchester
City,
City.
Man United.
Yeah,
Okay.
and very close second is Tottenham, Arsenal. Yeah, those are the ones. Man City, Tottenham, of course, that one will be nice too because last season Tottenham did the double over them. But yeah, but in terms of FPL wise, what fixtures spring to mind other than the doublers?
Yeah, I think that's true. I think Newcastle Fulham is something that we need to watch because Fulham they don't care. They play against anybody. The way they play against Man City is the same way they play against everybody. You know, you dominate, but they still can score against anybody, which I like about them.
Exactly.
Newcastle is now a different mentality team, a team that plays like they are like number one in the world right now. Their belief is just super high, even though they've added a few quality additions.
Yeah.
But then it's gonna be a tough game. I don't think people think that Newcastle are gonna crush Fulham, but I think we're in for a surprise. But I like the game, honestly, because this is a game I think that's full of goals, maybe. So we'll see.
Yeah,
That's my pick
yeah,
of the
but
week,
the
apart
thing
from
is,
the obvious one.
Newcastle are
Mhm.
so good defensively, right? And Fulham,
Yeah, but
they attack
It's
well.
Fulham, man.
Yeah,
That's
that's
the
the thing.
thing. They
And
attack
Mitrovic is
well,
gonna
yeah.
come back, right? Mitrovic is a
He's
bully.
gonna
He's
come
gonna
back, yeah,
go
yep.
back to the team where he started his Premier League career. Newcastle, that's where he started. So it's gonna be a derby for
Oh, that
him.
was a
It's
while
gonna
ago.
be a
Hmm.
game where he wanna prove himself. Of course, he has already proved. He don't need to prove to anybody. He has done well enough this season to we all know what kind of a threat he poses, especially after having the
Hmm.
rest. Of course, we know he had the injury with the ankle and stuff like that. So to have the rest that he had, it could be difficult for Newcastle in that game. But Newcastle have been defending very, very well. They have been the best defensive team in the league by a mile. So it could be a very interesting game. But I cannot call it in terms of FPL. I say okay, I'm gonna go with this team. In terms of FPL, you want to look at the fixture and say, okay, this team is the team that's gonna win. So I'm gonna pile up on this team, on this players. That we don't have this particular week. There is no fixture you will look at and you will say, maybe Brentford, Bournemouth. And Bournemouth, you never know too, But Brentford, they are very good at home. We just see what they did against Liverpool recently. We remember what they did against Man United, against some other big teams too. They have done very well when it comes to playing their fixture. I think that is the only fixture I will look at and say, maybe this is a fixture where if you have a few players there, you could get some FPL points. But other than that, I cannot. It's difficult to call all other fixtures, including the double game weekers.
That'll be interesting then. Okay. So moving on to the CMT captaincy metric sticker. Obviously, I'm sure this week I can guess that it's telling us to captain the ones with the doubles, right?
Yeah, yeah, of
So
course, of
okay,
course.
yeah. So in first we have Haaland, KDB, which is Man City, obviously, the obvious pick. Second is Kane, Son, also a double. The third is Bruno. This might be a bit differential, judging
Yeah,
that we just spoke about Rashford being one of the guys on form right now. But Bruno can be a very good differential in this double, so you never know. And fourth is Zaha. They also have a double, and they play against Chelsea, and they play against Man U because they always give us a tough game. If
yeah.
you want to like
They
recall,
always they
the
always
tough
do
game
well
always
against the
playing
bigger
Crystal
teams,
Palace.
right?
Yeah, against bigger teams. Yeah. So I think the top four right now is obviously you should consider the top four choices for the captain's mythic sticker. But obviously you cannot go outside of Man City. It's risky. If you want to captain somebody else outside of Man City that have a double, it's very risky. But honorable mentions is fifth is Wilson, who might be injured, but then Newcastle against Fulham. It's a good one
He's
to
back. He
captain.
played the
And
last game.
then he's back. Okay. And then Tony, Brentford against Bournemouth, like you mentioned. I think Brentford at home is a very good fixture. But I think the top four choices for this week are definitely the ones to watch out for.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. But yeah, like you mentioned, Rashford. I think if I had Bruno and Rashford, I would rather captain Rashford at this moment in time.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
I,
definitely.
as we know, the captain thematic ticker is only trying to highlight where to look at, not
The,
necessarily who
who to pick.
exactly. Especially
I
when
think
it
it
comes,
just it
yeah,
chooses the best asset in the team at the time. You know, if you look at
exactly. But like you say, yeah, Haaland with the double, and we know what he has done so far this season. He
mm-hmm.
scores in almost every other game. I think to look beyond him, it will be a little bit of left field. And the captaincy, I think he's gonna have more than 200% effective ownership if that is your thing.
Of course.
So you have to consider
Yeah.
that too as well. But yeah, like you say,
Unless you
Kane.
triple captain,
Yeah,
if he does well, unless you triple captain, you cannot really benefit from him. I think even captaining him, it might go against you because everybody is doing the same thing.
yeah.
So I mean, FPL right now is a problem, man. You know,
Yeah,
it's
definitely.
difficult,
But
but
Kane too, I think he thrives on on big fixtures. Of
big
course, he
fixtures,
does
yeah.
well against the smaller teams, but again in big games, Kane is usually there. Who will even if they are losing the game 2-1 or 3-2, you will see that Kane is the one involved in the goals or stuff like that. So he's not a bad shout
Mm.
too. Like I say, he scored in these two fixtures exactly last season. He scored about 30 points if you combine in terms of
Mm.
FPL. So if he can repeat that feat, I'm not saying he will, then that will be a first, right? If you have Kane, you should not be afraid to captain him. I would say that way. And as for the form he is on, yeah, you should not be afraid. You have experience with Zaha, right? Like whenever you get him, whenever you see him having the good fixtures, you say, "Let me jump to Zaha." That is when he disappoints. And
That's when it
then
disappoints you.
when he does
The
well
big
is when he
fixtures,
has
yeah,
the tougher fixtures. So yeah, if you have a player from these four teams, I think you should be able to do well despite the fixtures.
definitely. Okay, and last but not least, our team selection. The way we are talking, you can already guess that we haven't made moves yet because we are so confused. But we only have about 2 hours to go, so we need to make these moves. But right now, I think our boss team. I think we can just talk about our boss team right now. Who's going first? You or me?
Well, me, I haven't done anything. Let me just go and I will do something just because after this, after I post this video, I'm gonna sleep. So it means I have to do something before I sleep, or else the
Sure,
deadline
yep,
is gonna beat me.
definitely.
So as it stands, I haven't done anything. I have two free transfers in my pocket.
Mhm.
So I was trying to know what is happening in terms of injuries and stuff like that. I understand that Stones is out for Man City. I understand that Marshall is struggling a little bit at Man United. He might be available, but he's struggling. So as it stands, I want to get an extra Manchester City player. KDB was somebody I considered, but because Liverpool have a possible double next game week 21, I don't want to touch Salah for that reason. And my Liverpool biasness, of course, which is very hard for me to get rid of Salah sometimes. So I'm thinking of alternative at City. And Mahrez has been the player who sprang to mind. He did not play in the FA Cup, or in the League Cup, which is a good thing for him because he was not part of the loss. Pep cannot blame him for not winning the
Cannot
game.
blame him.
So and Pep recently said
Yeah,
that Mahrez is doing exceptionally well, and he knows what he needed to do, and he's doing that. When he's on this form, he's very, very good. That is similar in that, like, I'm not paraphrasing him, but he said something along those lines. So it kind of made me feel that Mahrez is gonna start maybe both games. So I might take a punt on him. Not many are gonna do with that because the history people have with him, yourself included. So maybe that's a good differential. He's less than
always
3%
a
owned
trap.
at
Yeah,
this point. So maybe that could be something that could, kickstart my season, because I've been talking about kickstarting my season every other week. So maybe that could be the move. But then the issue is, if I bring him in for example, Almiron, then I have to downgrade somewhere, and I'm considering downgrading Rhys James to defender. Possibly it's gonna be Manchester United defender Wan Bissaka, since
Mhm.
Dalo is out. So this is what I'm
That
thinking
is
right
out. Yeah,
now. James out, Almiron out for Mares and Wan Bissaka, and then I have at least about 4 or 5 doublers, which I think should be good enough for me. Any thoughts?
yeah. I think that's a good shot. I would have been comfortable with Dalo because in terms of stats and numbers, I think he's a better or even matching or better than Shaw. So we'll see how it goes. But yeah, uh, looking at my team, I think finally, it's no change. I made a mistake just before they announced the double. I brought in, I took out James and brought in Estupinian, which is very mistake, obviously. But yeah, um, I might take a hit, like I said. I might bring out Cancelo and bring in Shaw. Or I just leave it like as it is. Right now, I have Kepa, I have Cancelo, Trippier, Botman, De Bruyne, uh, Martinelli, um, Rashford, Almiron, Mitrovic, Haaland, and then Havertz. Havertz, I'm not happy with. So we'll see how it goes. Yeah.
Yeah, Cancelo. Yeah, I get getting rid of him because he has been woeful, to be honest. Since after the World Cup, he has not been doing well, and Pep has not been entirely happy with him, which means Pep will not mind benching him, especially in these two big fixtures when he cannot trust him at this point in time. He has dropped
Hmm.
form. He even lose his spot in the World Cup squad for Portugal, and Dalo was in for him, if I remember well. So yeah, he's the signs are not right for him to like going forward. But
And it's not
yeah,
cheap.
because of the double, for me, I just cannot sell a player when they have a double. I would rather take the 1 pointer or the 2 pointers, and then they just go with it. And Cancelo is that player that has hurt me in the past, so I don't want that to. So kind of have a phobia against him. So maybe that's why I'm not selling him. But yeah, because of the double too, it's
It's a
just
double, yeah. Unless after then we can decide, like, okay, you know what. But yeah, I'm thinking about it. I might just leave my team the way it is and then just try and see what happens. You never know. I
yeah.
wish I had Kane in my team right now in place of Havertz, but it is what it is. I don't have the money for him right now. So yeah. Okay, so we've come to the end. Hopefully things go our way. It's gonna be a big double and things can swing. FPL things move quickly, so we'll see how things go. Any last words before we close, Chama?
Uh yeah. it has been a while since we recorded,
Hmm.
right? A couple of weeks. Yeah.
Yeah,
And
it's been a while,
it
yeah.
has been a bit dormant in the Kotu Classic or the Jollof Football Bantaba YouTube channel. But guys, please don't forget to continue
There
supporting
with
the
us.
pod and help us continue to grow. Hopefully, things will get better on the side in FPL wise, and also, yeah, guys, if you have not hit that like button, please consider hitting it, and yeah, give us a follow, like we say. That's how you help us grow. And good luck on game week 20 again.
All right, thanks, guys. Always support the pod. We are the Kutu Classic FPL podcast. We catch you guys on the next one.